Hi everybody, today is Thursday, December 2nd. I want to take you through Schoology today and so that you know exactly what activities I want you to be working on, kind of explain the worksheets a little bit, and then I'm going to let you go get to work. All right, so go in Thursday the 2nd. Our objective today is just that the student will demonstrate their understanding of the key concepts in this chapter by completing the test review packet. The activities, you guys have a test review packet. It's in this folder, but I also have hard copies at the front of the room. And then I also have your scientific argument worksheet in this folder. I want you to notice the due dates, okay? Your rock transformations test review. I've decided I want you to turn in this test review. I want to see who is reviewing for the test. And, the idea is if you review for the test, you're going to do better on the test. So I'm going to hold you accountable by asking you to submit that. You're not going to do that, though, today. I want you to keep your review packet so that you can be prepared for the test tomorrow. And before you guys take the test on Friday, I'll say, okay, everybody, turn in your test review packet. Get it? As far as the scientific argument worksheet, remember, I want you to have plenty of time to write this. So I'm making it available to you today, but it is not due until Monday. So let's go in, take a look in the folder. I want to show you the two documents. Let's take a look at the test review first. So don't freak out when you first see this. It's pretty thick. I think there are 6 pages, but here's the thing. I made it big so you had room to write. I'm also including a lot of graphics here to kind of jog your memory and help you to remember some of the things that we've done over the chapter. And so it's really not as detailed as what it appears to be when you first take it. So let's take a look at the directions. It says think back to the activities, sims, models, and key concepts from each chapter. Use this to complete the graphic organizer to review for your test on Friday. You will submit this review sheet for a grade prior to taking the test on Friday. I've included the lesson and activity numbers so you can go back and review if you don't remember what we did. It was a couple weeks ago that we were in chapter 1. So here's what I did. In each chapter, I put that kind of as a heading, and it's got a gray bar. And then I labeled the activity that I want you to think about, and then I included the lesson and activity number. So like I said, you can go back if you don't quite remember. So this would be chapter 1, lesson 3, activity number 2. All right? So looking at this graphic, I want you to think back and answer these questions. Again, if you're having a hard time answering the questions, go back to this activity. Look around, maybe do the activity again, try and remember what it is, okay? So in chapter 1, you're going to take a look at a sim activity that we did. We did a hands-on activity. And then at the end of the chapter, I'm asking you to write your key concepts. Now, they are still on the board, but you guys should have, hopefully, memorized these. And so do your very best. There's not going to be a place, the test is an amplified test. So there's not going to be a place for you to write down a key concept, but you have to use them. You have to apply those key concepts when you're answering the test, and especially when you're answering the 2 short answers. Okay? So key concept number 1, number 2, number 3. Go ahead and write that down here. So then you've got chapter 2. Chapter 2 dealt with magma and sediment, like how magma is formed, how sediment is formed. So again, I've just pulled out a couple of the activities that we did. We've got a sim activity here. This one, I don't know if you guys remember, we watched a short animated movie about weathering and erosion. And if you are working on the hard copy, it might be a little bit difficult for you to see what exactly this picture is showing. So let me describe it for you. This is just a screenshot during the movie, and we see the sun, we see a cloud, we see rain, we see a rock formation, and we see wind moving, okay? So then you can go ahead and answer those questions. We did more hands-on activity with our candy and as a model. And then we've got 3 more key concepts for chapter 2. So key concepts number 4, 5, and 6. And then moving on to chapter 3, this was movement of rock formations. I pulled out that graphic from Chapter 3, Lesson 1, Activity 2. You guys can answer those questions. And this was a Google slide that I showed you, and it was just a reminder of the different ways that the 3 different types of rock are formed. And so just fill in the blank there to remind yourself. Then we've got another sim activity, and then I've got key concepts from this chapter. Now, you guys have key concept numbers 7, 8, and 9. We did not get to 10 and 11 in Wednesday's activity when we were playing the review game. And so I put key concept number 10 and key concept number 11 up on the board. So you're going to have to, when you're there and you're ready to write down that key concept, you're going to have to maybe take your iPad up there and take a picture of it so you can write it in. Okay? All right, so that's it for your review. Again, do not hand this one in. I don't want you guys to, I want you to keep it. I want you to make sure that you've got it so you're working on it and ready to go for the test on Friday. If you finish the review packet in class and you've got time and you to start working on your scientific argument, it's right here. Again, if you want to do a digital copy, then just download this into GoodNotes. If you want a hard copy, it's up on the table at the front of the room. And the scientific argument, you guys, is this. We have new piece of evidence. It's a new email from Dr. Lewis. And I want you to read that latest email and study the graphic. And I'll let you read the directions. If you've got any questions, you can ask me on Friday when we're back. But this should really give you an idea of how you can answer our chapter 3 question. Okay. Just a couple reminders. Remember, we're writing a scientific argument. This is a summative assessment, and I want you to follow RACE. So you're going to restate and answer the question, cite evidence, and you will use the evidence that you have in your graphic organizer, in your test review. That's why I went back and I pulled out those activities and the sim and the graphic. So you have that evidence. So cite evidence and then use appropriate key concepts to explain, that's the E part of RACE, why the evidence you use supports your claim. Make sure you're using complete sentences. And then also remember to use the rock transformation vocabulary terms, and I've included those at the bottom of this page. So here is the question. Why does the rock of the Rocky Mountains and the Great Plains have similar mineral compositions? Claim number 1, if you remember, says the sediment that formed the Great Plains came from the rock of the Rocky Mountains. And so on the hard copies, I was able to draw it in. I didn't do it on the digital copy, but you remember in class when I draw the mountains and I put a number 1, and then I draw the lines of the sedimentary rock and I put number 2. So claim number 1 is saying the Rocky Mountains formed first, and then the sedimentary rock formed from the sediment of the Rocky Mountains. Claim number 2 says that the magma that formed the Rocky Mountains came from the rock of the Great Plains. Claim number 2 says that the sedimentary rock appeared first, that was formed first, and then that formed the Rocky Mountains. And remember, the Great Plains rocks are sedimentary, the Rocky Mountains are igneous. So I don't want to explain too much, and I don't want you guys to talk about this. This is a summative assessment. So looking at this picture that we have, I want you to interpret that, and I'm going to be very careful not to give you any clues or anything right now. If you've got any questions about it or if you need some clarification, then you and I can talk in person on Friday, okay? So here are your vocabulary terms that I want to make sure that you're using. And then I just have a space for you to write. Okay? All right, you guys, I'm going to let you get to it. Take care, and I'll see you on Friday.